ladies and... Sorry. It's a great intro.
I'll take your broken smile and mend it to the sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time! Fighting out of the black corner, the ladies of the Lee, looking to take home some glory back to their varsity before going outdoors once more for the coming season. A powerhouse from Cork, defiant as always. UCC fighting out of the pink corner and receiving the disc for the opening possession. Anya Gilheany of Gravity. Two people on this team haven't been on Irish national teams. That's just how elite they are. And Claire Pugh wasting no time, sending it to Jane Linehan. Her heritage is Cork, her heart is Gravity, although that time she gets tackled by her own player. I believe that's Estelle Merchan. So a little bit of disharmony in the ranks, perhaps for Gravity. A chance for UCC to strike back. I am Lorca Murray, and it is my pleasure to bring you here to the final of the women's division at Siege 2.0. Huge handball by Fiona Murnagh. That was almost child abuse. Brianna Healy. Unfortunate in that case. So now we see them go again. Murnagh. She has the up the line cut available to her. She takes it. Comfortably taken in by Claire. Pew, pew, pew. Shooting to the end zone. And that's 1-0. Unfortunately, for UCC, they have suffered some injuries during this tournament. They have had a slobber knocker of a Siege, punching above their weight time and time again, most decidedly in the Universe Point semi-final where they toppled under 24s. There we see one more time Claire Pugh, Fiona Murnagh, long-time teammates who played together on Little Miss Sunshine, the first Irish dedicated women's club team, now playing together on Gravity, looking good in the pink. But to get back to UCC for the moment, they had a Universe Point final victory in the semi-final against GB under 24. A huge win that they had to dig deep. They saw injuries across their board, most notably to Choi and Dunn. That's Megan Choi and Sinead Dunn, two big players for them. But they were still able to pull it out in hard conditions. Unfortunately now, Sinead Dunn and Emma Healy unavailable for this matchup. The two most important players, it has to be said, for UCC. So now they're going to have to turn to the rest of their squad to deliver. The wind not as fierce, but the attitude just as much. Gravity, on the other hand, they are littered with talent. An embarrassment of riches. Anya Gilheany with the big pull. But throughout that line, it is class, skill, and experience, time and time again. You see Merchan running down to put on the force. You see her flanked by Sarah Melvin, stat leader of Eurostars. As here come UCC, Brianna Healy, undercut. She's going to have to work an awful lot today. Beautiful flick hook, lays it out magnificently over the top. Unfortunately, bobbled out of the hands of the intended receiver, number 54, Kate Daly. And a huge hook straight back from Fiona Murnagh. It's going to be an exciting game. Wasting no time, getting it to Melvin. If you've got it, flaunt it, and that's exactly what these Gravity ladies are looking to do. And Murnagh puts it out one more time. Lots of float. Choi's in there. She's a dogged defender, but can't get there in time. Excellent stuff from Gravity. Nice, calm, and in control. Katie Smith with the assist. From here, I can't quite make out who she threw it to. But Gravity are talent throughout. 2-0. So what we saw there on UCC's possession, Brianna Healy getting that first cut. Oh, before, let's look at the highlights. Melvin sets it up to Murnagh. Big arcing float, perhaps a bit too much, but they do back themselves athletically time and again against the younger and largely shorter side. Yeah, I believe it was Daly who scored, even though she opted for the assist to Merchan as a potential. Either way, though, it's a point. And Gravity, like I've said, skill throughout. UCC missing their two best players, Dunn and Emma Healy. Will have to rely on other aspects. The likes of Choi gonna have to step up, and you especially It's going to have a big role, filling in for Dunn as the main handler. And then Brianna Healy, who we do see put in epic shifts, especially earlier on in the semi-final all weekend. She's now going to become the primary option. You saw her make that first cut in the UCC isolation system and then take it on herself to put a big flick down towards the end zone. They're going to need more plays of that kind of ambition, that kind of fearlessness, if they're going to rack up points against Gravity. So, Yen Tung Liu going to the sideline. Difficult position to be in. Going to have to fight her way out of it. Well done. They isolate each other, and it's Brianna Healy. Who else? Now she's looking for options. Trying to find somebody to get it away to. Just about. But unfortunately, that one can't be collected. Just outside of the reach of Megan Choi. Now Anya Gilheany, who I had the pleasure of welcoming into the booth yesterday. So you know we are always a bit of a homer here going for her. Although that time the Huck not even coming back inside. So this is the kind of break UCC need. But they need to take advantage of it. Liu gets to walk it all the way back down to where it went out. It seems like UCC aren't aware of it because they're not reacting too quickly. Either that or they're trying to maybe lull Gravity into a false sense of safety. Something we saw in the semi-final quite a lot is a split play from the stack. This time, no, they just try to isolate Brianna Healy. Liu looking for options. And again, Choi provides her with one. Can't get the disc around her fingers. She is reckless with her body, throwing it all over the place for her team. Struggling to get the catch there. That's a nice high-arcing leading pass taken in comfortably by Sarah Melvin. Perhaps somewhat greedy as well. I believe it was intended for balance. That's Gravity. Swinging comfortably. Linehan has Melvin for the break, decides against it. Also has Smith, but instead goes for the dump to Pugh. Several options in front of her. Pugh just loads it up and throws it high. I thought Melvin would be able to get her hands around it, but it was coming in a little too hot and burned her fingers. So Liu is going to have to go all the way to the sideline. Unfortunately stuck in Coffin Corner. The wind not nearly as fierce as it was earlier, and I generally judge how strong the wind is by how likely the tent I'm currently in is to be blown away. It's gone from not at all to incredibly over the course of today. Right now I'm at a it could happen. As Liu, front corner, wind howling. Technically a travel, Linehan doesn't mind. But it goes straight into the hands of Claire Pugh. She's got free options all around her. She goes with balance. That dun cutting's very close, but they're able to get it off. UCC doing what they can, and excellent pressure, forces the hard throw. Big work on the force by Sarah McKeown. So here we go again, Liu. They've been doing a good job of isolating the cutter and getting just a little bit of separation. What's missing is the catches. It's been drops. There haven't really been any Ds apart from that one huge hand block, and there again a high stall count. The pressure works. You can see Gravity starting to slowly tighten the screws. Anya Gilheany getting that one from Pugh, running down the line. Waits and weighs the Huck perfectly. And Linehan has time to just gently jog it down. That's 3-0 to Gravity. A trend one has to believe will continue. UCC, a very strong side, very powerful, but they have lost 2 of their leaders. Sinead Dunn from the handling position, Emma Healy from the cutting. And while they still certainly are a very good side, Brianna Healy, Saoirse O'Sullivan, Louise Coombs, all top quality players, going up against the likes of Gravity, who are basically a super team of Irish talent drawn from all over the country as they move to Dublin inevitably for work. It's tough. It's a lot to ask. So now it's more, what can they gain from the challenge itself, and how can they use that to help them bring home another varsity title to Cork? A couple of the Gravity players spent some time in UCC jerseys, or indeed with the club down in Cork, Rebel, like Linehan, Cliona Doyle as well on the pitch. 2 Cork women with a lot of love for their alma mater. There's that one going all the way down. There's another ex-UCC player, Leanne O'Neill. Hasn't been out on the pitch yet. Absolutely phenomenal thrower. As we see UCC try to get things going, but again, that invasive force of Fiona Murnagh. So difficult to escape, and just putting UCC's handlers under so much pressure. That time it was Louise Coombs falling victim to her. Now she picks it up. Expect to see an isolation here. And then a dump cut, just going straight away for the swing. Putting their fastest player in there. Big defensive block, but it comes to no avail. Sarah Melvin able to get it back. But in the interests of fairness, throws it into the ground. That's only allowed. So now UCC get another look. Lou trying to get it down the line, but just can't quite. The wind really affecting their throws. Gilheeney puts it up, and that is a lot of spin, a lot of technique, and making it look easy. Leinen with the score. We're going to have another look at this one, the 4-0. You can see them congratulating each other. Big question mark over Gravity is their ability to get it done at the highest stages when the chips are down. So we're going to see this again. Gilheeney, quick, picks it up, shoots it to the end zone. Perfect. And that's an easy catch for Leinen, who is capable of much more athletic plays. But just to get back to what I was talking about, there is still a question mark over Gravity. They struggle in some of the biggest, most important games. They have faltered in the past. The way they look now, the way they are focused and rigid in their structure, they know what they're doing, they know who they are. It does make one wonder, will this be the year they're able to get it done? Especially the likes of Pelt and Ranelagh, making such an impact on their recent trips over to the UK, really competing with the top clubs, making their appearances at EUCF. It's always been an area in which Ireland have lagged behind. Something Gravity are trying to champion, something UCC really championed at the varsity level, leading to a lot of strength in Rebel as well. This could be the year we start to see Irish women's teams compete and start really pushing for maybe European Championship qualification. I certainly feel like Gravity, with all their talent, again, only 2 of those players haven't played for the national side, have the abilities as they come out here with a zone. Lou is able to get the swing to the middle. Coombs nicely across. Is a little bit better from UCC, stringing a couple of passes together. Daly, oh, gets caught in the wind. There's a lot of float. Brianna Healy can't quite get under it. Coombs tried to come in to help, but to no avail. So now once again we see Anya Gilheeney. This is clearly the D line from Gravity, who one imagines will play most of this game. Nice little bit of play. Pugh, easy as you like to Doyle. Does the classy thing. Nice calm celebration against her old university. And it just seems like Gravity have the technique and the throws to set each other up and make it much easier. UCC very athletic, but they do tend to rely on Sinead Dunn's ability to throw in these conditions. When the weather gets bad, there's not a lot of other players in the team you'd really trust the disc in their hand. Her loss, significant. But it could also be a significant positive if they learn how to play without her. Trying to play without your best player on the biggest stage tends to mean good things for the future. Again, UCC have to be considering themselves in contention to go all the way once more and bring home that varsity trophy to Cork. There's now Gravity. I thought maybe they'd start swapping in a couple of players, mixing up the D&O lines a bit. It's happening to a small extent. You see Pugh going off. I believe she's been replaced with Sav Long. But for the most part, some familiar face out there, Leinen. And Murnagh absolutely burning down the pitch. Murnagh knows that she is the point of that sword. She's going to try and trap Lou in this corner. I think she wants another hand block. See her hunting for it, moving around, pressuring her, not letting her get a breath. And there it is, forcing a difficult and panic throw into the wind. Strong play. So neither Coombs nor Lou really able to get things going too well so far. Gravity taking advantage of that flick side as Gilheeney goes for the break inside. It's low, but Fiona Murnagh is equal to it. Dropping down to her knees and picking that disc up. So that makes it 5-0. 15 minutes in. 6-0, I apologize. So now we will see. Just gonna have another quick look at it. Perfect L cut by Fiona Murnagh. You can even see with the help defense, Brianna Healy knows what's going on. She comes over, trying to shut down the isolation. They love their handler sets and their isolations at Gravity. Of course they do, they're an Ian French coach team. That is his hallmark. Excellence under pressure is Fiona's. Great grab. Now obviously I'm Irish and prone to talking to myself. But I really would put Gravity up there. From what I've seen, especially of the UK women's division, put them up there, knocking on the doors of Bristol and Iceni. Maybe I'd like to see those matches. I definitely would love to see them go up against Sick. I think that'd be a great game. A lot of athletic matchups for them. It's a real hard-working team. Go up against the likes of Hydra. The Reading women's team, when it's at full strength, can be a mighty beast as well. Over here, they're blooding a lot of their younger players. Still did quite well. And hopefully had fun. That could be a brilliant matchup. Chaos, the new London outfit, I believe from last year, maybe 2 years ago. As now we see Lou looking for options. Puts up a lovely big one. Choi could try and read it. It was to where she was. She came a little bit under. It's difficult to read those in those situations. But I like that look. That was what they did to get through the semi-final. Just Huck and D. It won't work so well by Gravity. But so far, I think they've had 3 to 4 completions in the game. Huge defensive effort. Great run-through block. Kate Daly showing us some strength, showing us some fight. They are not going down, and now they are on the door. Huck and D is what got them to the final. You gotta keep trying it now, I guess. Lou's right there. Smart play by Gravity, clogging that lane. They know Brianna Healy is the one that they want to hit. Lou tries to send it over the top to Choi. Couldn't get there as the wind really starting to raise its heckles and howl. Claire Pugh. Goes to the front corner. This to take half. An enviable task, and you can see the way Brianna Healy is completely poaching off. I believe it's Long that they've left free in the middle. It is. And it works out for them, putting that kind of pressure on. The isolation cutting, not really recognizing it. In those situations, maybe just go for the swing straight away, get to the high side. They've got the capabilities of doing it. So Lou with another opportunity. Gilheeney this time taking the option of poaching. But once more, nobody coming to take advantage of it. Lou's forced to just throw into that space. When somebody poaches in the open lane, it means you can get a completely free person to come around for the dump. Just clear the handlers out and go around for the dump with the free person. It's an easy reset. Choi jumping across, getting the block. I have a feeling this game could descend into this corner for a while now, until one of these teams works out how to play against the poach. Easier said than done from the comfort of the booth. Lou gets it to the middle and it bounces out of the hands. I think that's O'Sullivan. An unfortunate drop. So now Gilheeney, slightly more room to breathe in, goes for the break, lots of float. Someone's going to get there, and Gravity wind up D'ing each other, and Brianna Healy picks up the disc. You know, she's got a confident flick and lots of spin on that throw. Puts it in the mixer. Choi tries to read it, and then she D's her own player, getting in the way of Clara Donovan. So Gravity D'd themselves. UCC said, don't worry, we'll give you one back. Even the scores. I wish these teams could just get out of their own way. As Gilheeney once again stuck, trying to get out of this corner. That break much more composed, but this time it's dropped by Doyle. Bobbling and bouncing out of her hands. Lou has a free player on the dump, doesn't see her in time. Brianna Healy sucks everybody in. Gets it over to Daly. Great continuation cut from Lou. Perfect stuff to the break side. Gets caught a little bit by the wind, carrying over everyone, and they just misread it. Lovely continuation cut from Lou. Probably could have kept going just a little bit more into the end zone, but good to see that UCC are trying to swing their way off that sideline. So now we see Claire Pugh picking it up. And a foot block, I believe, from Choi. Second impressive block on this point. Fantastic defender, as you see Lou trying to get it to O'Sullivan. She makes no mistakes at the second asking. That's the score on the board, 6-1. And there you go, there's the spirit of UCC coming on to cheer each other along. Saoirse O'Sullivan with the score. And it was them pushing to the high side, forcing themselves to go for it. The flicks clearly aren't as strong as the backhands, especially in these conditions. There's Choi with the big time foot block. Ba-boom. And then Lou picking it up quickly. Great cut from O'Sullivan. Leaves the defender in the dirt. And celebrating. You can see the lovely Ben Noonan, their coach, getting down low. It's easier for some than it is for others to show him how he wants to throw those backhands. There's Ian French talking to Gravity. Marshalling their troops. Imagine Ben is focusing on the defense. If I was UCC, I'd be pretty happy with the kind of defense they're playing. Given the conditions, they're using them well to their advantage. They are well versed in playing in the wind coming from Cork. And then, if I was Ian French, I would be saying to Gravity, we got to try and really force that swing a bit more. They're poaching off in the channel. They're shutting down that open side. Use that to force a swing, or drag them all into the open side. Give us an easy throw to the break. I would back most of those Gravity girls in the air against UCC if you're willing to just loft something up there. If it wasn't for them D'ing each other, that would have happened earlier in the point. As here comes the pull. That's starting to come back. Daly almost thought she was going to have to catch it in her own end zone once it came out, but drops down just outside of the brick mark. Pugh picks it up, goes to Gilheany. It's a nice cut up the line. Pugh goes to the inside. It was much more difficult. I think missed her chance. She had a brief window, closed it, and then tried to open it again. Very difficult to do. You get one look, really. And if you don't take it, then you're probably going to make a mistake. Lou really struggling to get that disc up window, though there is a foul. So Daly goes for the leading pass, but it just drops out. It's very hard to lead people in this weather. We've seen that in a lot of the games. And Fiona also learning that much to her chagrin. Puts that to Claire Pugh, but the wing gets under it and just takes it off to the sideline. It's Gravity looking to take half. Lou walking to the front corner. That one was better. She could like maybe stand over them a little bit more. They're still all curving outside in. Gilheany looking to get it going quickly. A bit too quickly as it bounces out of the hands of Fiona Murnagh. This is an opportunity for UCC now. Coombs. Daly makes the first cut. Not available. Lou can't react quite quick enough. Coombs just puts it a little bit too far away from her. Gotta say, I'm a big fan of Coombs, and not just because she wears number 16 for UCC like a certain Lorcan Murray did once. Many moons ago. Sorry, back to the action. So, Anya Gilheeney walking towards the sideline, getting ready to get her team started, trying to take it to half. In a commanding 7-1 lead in what some people would honestly describe the situation as a bit of a foregone conclusion. Yet every point counts. That's one of the magical things about Siege. You've got to fight because everything is an opportunity to improve. That was a close one and it sat up beautifully, but just a bit too far away. So it drops out of the hand. Every hardship being faced right now, UCC raise themselves to stand against it. Regardless of the score, it will stand to them in the outdoor varsity season. Lou tries to get it into the middle, and once more, I feel like she's dragging those discs too much. She's turning them up, trying to get that extra power in there, just knifing. If she was just to sit back, lean forward a little bit, and snap it. But of course, much easier to say from up here. There's a reason why I'm in the booth and not on the pitch. Gilheeney, textbook flick, beautifully done to the streaking Claire Pugh. There's conversation about whether she was in or out. It seems to be the UCC girls say she was out. One wonders if they will refer to us. Let's just have a quick look at it. Look at Gilheeney's technique here. Gets low, over it, perfect. Lots of snap. We're just going to watch this. Beautiful slow motion. Ulti.tv. Oh, yes. In there with the first step, and then out. She was out. Foot on the line. Catches it. Gonna have another quick look at it. By quick look, I mean slow motion. Oh no! It seems UCC have decided. Now we look here. In. Catches it with that foot down. Yeah, that was my first instinct. It is in. For those of you sitting at home, I am conferring with myself because I apparently have no friends, which is a little distressing. I suppose I've got Lolo, our cameraman, one of the wonderful team we have working here at Ulti.tv covering Siege of Limerick. So that is half. 7-1 to Gravity. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Bank of Ireland, one of our major sponsors, providing the tournament with support and funding, which has enabled us to come to you free to view through our YouTube channel. Bank of Ireland are heavily involved with student life at the University of Limerick and support a variety of UL clubs and societies events. Thank you very much, Bank of Ireland. Some people say AIB, I say AI who? Bank of Ireland. Also, we'd like to thank Fulcha Ireland for their continued support, providing the tournament with support and funding, helping us come to you free to view here in the YouTube channel. They promote tourism in Ireland and help spread awareness of the Siege of Limerick and many of the wonderful things that await you in this fantastic county of ours. Fulcha Ireland. I am Lorcan Murray. I will be back to you soon where we continue the action of the Titans of today against the future of Irish Ultimate here in the women's final of the Siege of Limerick. And we are back in the second half of a first of our finals today at Siege of Limerick. Gravity from Dublin taking on UCC from Cork. I am Lorcan Murray and I am joined by the wonderful
Aisling O'Sullivan.
making her broadcast debut. Aisling is a current player for UCC.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, so I've been playing at UCC for the last couple of years, so just taking a backseat due to an injury at the moment. So yeah, up here supporting the wonderful women.
Well, we have to try and remain objective, as that is a big arcing pass going up. So, how are UCC feeling this varsity season? Confident?
Confident without being too assuming, I would say. They have quite a good track record winning intervarsities, but I think they're always looking to take things to the next level in terms of expanding Irish Ultimate and raising the game, not just for UCC but on a national level.
Brilliant. A ambitious and lofty goal, but those are always the best ones to set.
Yes.
If you fall reaching for the stars, you can land on a cloud. To paraphrase Kanye West. That pass almost working out. Probably shouldn't have. Coombs trying to get the disc to Brianna Healy. So now Anya Gilhini picking it up quickly. Continuing the action. Fiona Murnagh. Spreading that one out wide. Bobbling and bouncing out of the hands of Long. So now Lou stepping up to the disc. Lou and Coombs kind of swapping responsibilities for restarting at dead discs during this game. They go for the big shot over the top. Claire Pugh just defending at the back, making sure it doesn't float and no one else can get there. And now just having to chase a rolling disc. So what do gravity mean to UCC? Are you rivals, something that you kind of aim for? Thieves of your best talent?
Yeah, I would say something we would aim for, really. I mean, like, there's a lot of players that would have played with UCC or Rebel at a time who have now gone to Gravity due to work commitments and such, but they're definitely a team that they bring so much, I think, to Irish Ultimate, both spirit and playing ability. So they're definitely something UCC aspire to. Some great play there. Gilhini.
I suppose the rivalry is normally much with Rebel. Anya Gilhini trying to set up the huck, but it bounces off. Can you be a Rebel player as well?
Yes, yeah. So it's always nice to kind of see the UCC Rebel bond there and how that dynamic works well. And yeah, we've lost a few players from Rebel to Gravity, so Rebel is kind of seeing a new dynamic at the moment, with looking for different players stepping up in different roles and such. So
Much like UCC right now in the final. There's Lou having to pick up that disc, traditionally done by Dunn during this tournament, but she is out for the game. And again, Lou, for me, she keeps daggering a lot of those flicks. I'd like to see her lean over them a little bit more.
yeah, I think that's one thing now just we'll take from this tournament is throwing these conditions is a massive challenge. So I think the squad is going to hopefully learn from that. Something Gravity have done quite well is their throwing, and you can see that in their level of experience.
A lot of that is the experience. A lot of those women on Gravity have been playing for quite a while. UCC, by its nature, younger varsity players. I'm sure some of them started in the school's program in Cork, but a lot of them still coming to it in university as well. Claire Pugh, so experienced, just putting herself in the right place consistently. Gets it to Murnagh, gets it back, works so well with her. They've been teammates for a very long time at this point. And pops it in. Pugh right in front of the end zone. And getting it just inside. It's a lovely scoop, Murnagh. Spreading it around. Murchan, front of the end zone. This is good scramble defense by UCC. They've kind of put the clamps on them a bit. Healy really has her hands full trying to contain Murnagh. Murnagh goes to lay it up. Quick pop into Pugh, right in front of the end zone. Still not doing a great job of isolating anybody. They're not pushing to the break side as much as they should. They've kind of got focused on the dump cutting, but it works.
I think another good feature within Irish Ultimate is the level of Irish players that we have in terms of the dynamic between UCC and Gravity and Rebel and all that. So they're learning their skills from each other on a massive level with all these different Irish teams that they're training for at the moment in the training weekends. So you can see that some of those skills are hopefully going to be brought back into the college Ultimate.
Ideally. It is something that Irish Ultimate has always really lagged behind in. I've always thought it's the women's scene. Like, we don't, especially when it's compared to the men's, you don't see the Irish university teams, the women's ones, go over and compete at the national events like the men's do. Even though they no longer are allowed to go to Division 1, the men's still go to Division 2. the women don't really go for that. They don't make as much of an impact going over for the tours or going over to, say, UK Nationals even, whereas we've started sending mixed teams and open teams, but still the women always flagging behind a little bit. So it is great to see that kind of growth.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is there anything you think we could be doing more of? Like, what's a good way to attract new players into the player base? Always trying to grow it.
Well, I think a massive person who really deserves a mention, and it's happened back, is Jen Kwan for what she's doing for the development of Irish Ultimate and the women's scene. I mean, like, their social media presence at the moment it's fantastic to see. You know, the 2020 campaign and getting the Irish women seen and getting their kind of status built is fantastic. So there's a really good team working on that within the Irish Ultimate scene. I think really just going to schools, like something that Cork Ultimate has always been really strong on, is the school scene, between the Active Schools Week and all that. So I think if we just keep pushing forward, and I think confidence has another element to it in terms of stepping forward and going to national tournaments and going abroad to the tours and such. So I think a bit more confidence could stand.
Well, you've got to think Gravity are filled with the stuff right now. They've had a conquering weekend, taking all comers and dismissing them by and large. It doesn't look like this one's going to be too close either, to speak candidly momentarily. And they've just pushed past all the other opposition, including the GB Under-24 women. The big thing is confidence. Would they be able to then go and replicate that kind of success overseas, as that one just bounces out of the hands of Brianna Healy? She's been running so hard for so long. You can forgive a bit of fatigue. Myrna, nice low scooping backhand. That's the kind of throw Ben was trying to get UCC to do a bit more of. Just bounces off the cuticles of Claire Pugh. So now Coombs to Lou. Lou looking for options. She sees one. Can't get it to O'Sullivan, instead forced to send it long. Now, if Lou is capable of doing that with a backhand, honestly, I would just start sending people deep. Just send Choi, or, yeah.
Brianna
and Choi, Brianna Healy.
Yeah.
That's number 0. Just send her deep a bunch of times. That's what basically what Sinead Dunn was doing to Emma Healy, and it was working quite well. And if Lou has that throw in her arsenal, why not go for it?
Again, I think that could be questioned in terms of confidence levels, you know, and not pushing, you know, up against players like that. But Brianna is definitely someone that could be executed down deep. Sinead Dunn is fantastic at doing that, and Emma Healy, it's
always much. Oh, and another huge foot block. That's something that has to be commended. The defense UCC play is intense and fantastic. And there is a quick timeout. So, during this timeout, I want to really quickly mention our third major sponsor. After we have a look at this foot block, Salam! Kate Daly. Stomping on Gilheany's plans to get out of that corner. So I want to send a thank you to 5 Ultimate for their continued support of the Siege. For years they have provided us with the highest quality Ultimate apparel, and we here in Limerick swear by their brand. If you want the best Ultimate gear, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5. So now, Aisling, one thing I did want to talk to you about was a little bit more about this 2020 campaign. Just to give it a bit more of a shout out on thing. What kind of stuff have they been doing for it?
they've been featuring different players across both the college ultimate scene and club ultimate, kind of building a profile base. But what's lovely for even International Women's Day, they had the males and the women, and what everybody kind of like a unity approach, and kind of what everyone's planning to do to develop the scene for women in ultimate. So it's quite positive. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting involved, and I think that atmosphere that's being created from the Irish ultimate scene is really to be respected.
Well, you mentioned Jen Kwan earlier, a woman who deserves a lot of laurels when it comes to Irish development in general. Coached some of the best under-20 teams ever that we've ever seen, carrying on the good work that John Doherty initially started, and it's brilliant to see it kind of spreading, because it does always seem to be in Ireland that it's men first. Not that they're directly put first, it's just they're always the ones we have more of, and they're the things that happen first. We had an Irish national men's team before we had an Irish women's men's team. We had under-20 men's, under-24 men's. We still haven't had an under-24 women's team. We've had a mixed. I don't know.
There's under-24s this year.
There's this year, sorry. It would be the first year.
Yeah.
Whereas we've had, I think, 4 iterations of the men's team at this point. So I suppose really the main thing is just to keep trying and plugging away and putting women first in some of those places.
Yeah, I think we need to be braver and we need to be bolder and coming out of the cracks and step forward and push. I think the men are good at that. Their voices have been that bit more established, as you've said. Even looking at the history, UCC celebrated 20 years last year, and it was a good while before they got the women's team established and all that. So it's coming, and even I think as well, looking at the likes of UL this weekend and the women's team that they have it's outstanding really, and it's a credit to the likes of Christy Dinkler, and I know Brian Sullivan's involved in that as well. There's a lot of
Eva
players.
McKeown does a lot of good work as well with the juniors.
Yeah, and like they're really pushing and persevering with school, so that's.
So now we see UCC unfortunately coughed up in front of the end zone, still struggling to get consistent passes off, and that one just floating and hitting the ground. Dastardly. So Lou will get another look, and with the backhand option available, I'd love to see her just hang one up there. Bit of focus, and you can see the frustration just going out in Coombs' face. Dropping it, dropping her eyes. Now tearing off downfield very quickly. Gravity trying to get there. Murnagh has it. She's got a few options. One of them's lining. You have to send it to Jane when you see her go. But unfortunately, that one just sails over her head. So now Lou all the way back on her own end zone. And again, you'd want to see them maybe take something on. Go for the big shot. Try and get it downfield. The worst thing that could happen is you get hand blocked, which isn't too bad a fate. That's a little bit better. And it was almost caught. I mean, it would have required incredibly good hands for Sarah McKeown to take it in, but still gives them a fighting chance. And another hand block! 3 hand blocks, 3 different UCC players. I believe Choi got the first one with a foot block. We saw Daly get one, and now Brianna Healy's. 2 foot blocks and a hand block. And I think they're all just kind of paying back Fiona Murnagh for that abusive hand block she got right at the start of the game. We're like, oh really? You're gonna hand block us? The defense is impressive. But I do think the defense is easier to be at when you're naturally athletic. Whereas the offense, I really think, is born of like confidence and self-belief along with just repetitive technical skill. Like quick reflexes and commitment, that'll get you blocks, but you need confidence and you need practice to be good at offense, especially in these conditions, which make it nearly impossible for everybody. As we see Gilheany, a circle cut at the jump, and now launching one, and look at the spin, the float, will it stay in? Just out of bounds. Fantastic grab, it must be said, by Michelle Balance, trying to toe the line, but the disc had gone just a bit too far. Just a quick question to the GB under-24s. They say yes, that had gone. So 9-1 to Gravity. UCC really putting up a bit more of a fight in the second half. The opening exchanges of the game, Gravity really started to run away with it. That was a fantastic grab by Coombs. And now this is better. Daly has it on the high side. This is the kind of position we'd love to see him launch one from. We know that Healy has a flick hook in her. And a bit of a backhand. Goes to set up Coombs. This is much better from UCC. This is the kind of play that got them to the final. And Lou launches it up. Almost brought in by O'Sullivan. But no. Bounced to the ground. But better. Encouraging. Working from their own end zone, almost making down the pitch, and they earn it on the under. I believe that's Anissa Smith, bounced out of the hands of. Allergic to people from New Zealand, which is a rare one, but genetic. As that one just goes out of bounds again, but I liked that more. That just seemed like it was a bit bolder, like you were saying.
Yeah,
Ashley.
a bit more clinical, I think, there with those pop passes and these windy conditions. It is quite windy here, and it's not easy. I think at this, they've played a lot of games, both teams this weekend, and being intense on defence and bopping across on their feet. Something Fiona Murnagh was doing there earlier on, which was quite admirable. And it's the quick turnovers with all the wind as well as.
I don't think Fiona Murnagh is human sometimes, like almost partially cybernetic the way she keeps going.
Yes, a bit of a ninja.
Honorary UL member almost. Now we have Lou. Gets it across. Now that was a better pass again. Coombs tries to get it to Daly and it bounces out of her hands. I like those moves to the high side though, as you see Jane Lynan going. Gilhini really thought about sending it, decided against it. Pops it to Myrna. Nobody available for her immediately. And that one was always dropping down. Giving Balance a lot of work to do. So now UCC with a chance to put it in. Coombs. At the point and hits.
Lovely.
Healy, that was a fantastic
That
little
was good,
backhand.
yeah.
Bit of a break. We kind of call them breaks as they send it along. I was thinking myself when you were talking about kind of the legacies and developing. Ultimately, you said like Cork had been there for a while. I remember in my first year when I joined, there was one experienced girl, Deirdre, and the work she put in was phenomenal. She got, I believe, 13 to 14 female beginners, brought them in, trained them up, basically herself, established a women's team that you still see today, the likes of Mary McKee, still very influential, and all these people who would then bring in new rounds of players who are still showing up on the Rebel team, still showing up in the UCC teams. It's all about those people who stand up and put the work in, become like real figureheads of it. We see it again starting to happen in UL, where you get like a lot of beginners and you can kind of keep them, hook them in. I think the social side of it is huge. All right, so I've got some fantastic news for all the people watching at home. One of my favorite aspects of the game. Pat a cake. Show me some blocks. Boom. Kick it. Tribe Called Quest. Can they kick it? Yes. And here we see Healy. Boom. Close that door. Wait, were all 3 foot blocks?
Kate's was a foot block. Brilliant.
As well?
Yeah.
I think all 3.
I
Choice
think
was
they're-
definitely a foot block right at the start of the game.
Yeah. Some good blocks
Well,
there.
there you go. Dancing shoes. Getting them feet up.
Going back to what you were saying there about the development of Ultimate, I was chatting with one of the Ranelagh lads earlier on, and we were just kind of saying it would be encouraging to almost come together and see the elements of what works well in terms of recruitment. UL have really worked on that, and Pelt, and you know, there's different characters like Dylan Ryan and Andrew Mead. They create almost like a family-like atmosphere, and it's fostering that environment is keeping retention and all of that. So I think there's other clubs chatting to other clubs about what's working well and stuff, so that's great to see. And you can see that then the level of players at tournaments and all that, and it's all growing. So Irish Ultimate is definitely coming up in the world and becoming bigger in the scene.
An increased player base is a tide that would lift all boats. As now we see Brianna Healy with a very impressive pull. And Gravity trying to go back line in middle of the pitch. Disc in hand. Doyle just stood there on the break side going, I know you have this throw. Give it to me. I know you have it. I'm not cutting. Give it to me. Long. Looks to lead Lynan long. Does so. Lynan now working with Pugh, and she's just so good at that close quarters cutting. Juking and jiving. Twirling and whirling. Getting free for the score. So, who on Gravity do you think is, apart from Fiona Murnagh, and although she hasn't played too much in this game, Sarah Melvin would probably be 2 of the wider known ones. Who do you think would be Gravity's top players? An interesting pick maybe for the MVP of the final. Right now my MVP would probably be, you tell me first, Ashley.
Claire Pugh, very good player.
She's playing very well in this game as well.
Clinical decisions, you can see it. She's, like you said earlier, her positioning on the pitch is fantastic, and it's that awareness and knowing, and I think you can see that. Yes, they're an experienced team. They know their style of play. They know each other's style of play, so they're bouncing well off of that. So yeah, Claire Pugh for me would be one of my standout figures.
I think in this game, and certainly more so over the recent seasons, Anya Gilhini I think has played quite well.
Yes.
Picking up that disc a lot. Has had a lot of turnovers in this game, but I mean, anybody who's touched this basically has had a turnover at some point in this match, so it's not the worst thing. Also, she was commentating up here with us, so you know we like to keep that here. You see Jane Lynan just working with Pugh. Just another example of what makes her so good. That cutting, so difficult to contain. It's a real shift trying to hold her off the disc. There's now Gravity 10-3 up. Or 10-2 up.
You're 10-2.
7-1.5, you're right, 10-2. But there you go, quick turn. And now Gravity gets to go again. Gilhini picking up the disc, goes for that backhand break. It was very close, but Healy was the quickest one to react to it, just stood there and caught it. I think a few people could have competed. That was excellent chase down catching. Good hunger for the disc from McKeown. Gets back to the hands of Coombe. The wind whistles past. Coombs is looking, pointing. Somebody go deep. Somebody move at all for you. You gotta imagine they're very tired. Seeing Coombs make a throw like that makes me wonder why she hasn't been the one picking it up on the near sideline when they've been trapped in there. A lot of times it's been Lou, and those throws have almost all come out Blady. I would have put Coombs there if I knew she could kind of, well, at least think that kind of.
And I think that's the beauty of Siege, is it's great. You kind of, people figure out what works, what doesn't work. So I think that's definitely something that will probably come into discussion at a later point. But yeah.
So Myrna sends that one over the top, taken down well by Doyle, showing a bit of hunger. Gets the pop to Gilheany, and she sets it up, fearless with her shots and clinical when she gets the opportunity. Great throw to Jane Linehan.
Yeah, fantastic. I think Gravity have the height as well, which is they're quite a tall team.
They're quite a tall team, the likes of Myrna, Long, Linehan, very tall, a little bit imposing at times, shall we say, players. Of course, lovely in person. Katie Smith as well, quite tall. So, Gravity 11-2 up. All in all, we could just have another look here at this shot. Great shot from Gilheany. You can see the disc turned up to let the wind go over it. Perfect technique. I'm very willing to take those shots on. I'd like to see somebody on UCC just be willing to go for a couple of those.
Yeah, Louise Coombs has those throws. So, utilising her. The likes of Sinead, who's talking to the UCC team there at the moment, she's a figure who's being missed quite a lot from this game due to an injury. So
we saw her go down with an injury, I believe at 3-3 in the semi-final. GB were going to go 4-3, and then she'd be like, nope, not staying off. Came back on. They went up 5-3. UCC clawed it back to 5-5, and then won on Universe.
Yeah.
It was brilliant show of heart and grit. But when you then tell me, yeah, no, she's injured and she can't play in the finals, like, that makes sense.
Yes.
It was brilliant to see, but it is at the same time only Siege. You've got varsity titles to come. Oh, I shouldn't have said that on the stream, shouldn't I? Siege is the most important tournament of the season. No, it's not the most important, it's just the most fun. And it's the best place.
I think this Siege in particular, having the Irish Ultimate Team that bit deprived last year due to the snow, so I think there's a bit of extra hunger and a bit of extra fire in everyone's belly for this title this year.
Both of these teams, this is just an aside from the party, both these teams, a lot of mimes. They had a load of mimes on both their teams.
Yes.
Claire Pugh with the disc. Myrna goes down the line. They love to initiate play like that, but that one just never really got up off the ground enough. A difficult one for Fiona Stain. If that hadn't have been a little bit more inbounds, I am pretty certain Fiona would have laid out.
She's a great player and a lot of the Gravity girls are, for putting their body on the line and going for them. We saw from Jane earlier on, going for that disc.
Claire Pugh just stealing that one away from an onrushing Choi. Getting into the middle, and Doyle. Myrna. Murchan, yep, coming down the line. She has the opportunity to shoot it to Long, decides against it, and again, does that count as a hand block?
Yes.
Kinda, yeah, we'll give it to her. Within proximity, you know? If you're close enough to put on a stall, then hand block. I prefer that. At least there's ambition in that. That was a throwaway for Lou, but you could still see she was going for it,
yes.
Learning what to do. Shows a bit of belief. And if not belief, then desire. So now Pugh back on the sideline. We've seen this happen a few times because of the way the wind is blowing the disc, bouncing up. Fortunately, it's not blowing in the opposite direction, otherwise we'd be losing a lot of discs in the shrubbery behind us, or in the far distance. Pugh to Myrna, and she just sits it up there. That was a lot of spin, looked good initially, but it was dropping, never really had the height to give Murchan time to get under it. Choi on that force, kicking up every opportunity she gets. I would be very scared if I was Pugh. The impudence. We don't care if you're the best women in the country.
Yes.
We're going to get footblocks.
Choi will put herself on the line.
They all count, still in possession, UCC. And that one, unfortunately, just coming a little bit off. Lauren Walsh, one of the D players, one of the less experienced UCC players, is able to get it, and there gets the D back. Great stuff, battling her against Long. There are young up-and-coming UCC players we should really be keeping our eye on. I suppose all of them technically
Yeah,
are still
there's
in
some.
college.
Yeah, and like we've had some new recruits this year make Irish mixed teams. So there's.
Wow.
Yeah, which
very
is great,
impressive.
yeah.
That was a brilliant flick by you, and that's what or Lou. Sorry, that's what we're talking about. You know, just playing their way into the game, and all of a sudden she's getting those arching passes across. As now Gravity looking to strike back. Back to Myrna. Into the centre. Waiting for it there, Smith. And then tries to get to Merchan, but it just hits the ground first. It's 11-2 right now, 7 minutes left in the game. We will be going. Oh! Lovely throw. And that was Coombs.
That was Coombs, and that was a good, brave throw.
But it just seems very late in the game to start doing that. Could just come out and done that from the start. But I understand. You know, like you were saying, it's about the confidence.
The
having
confidence
to do it.
Yeah.
Or, something that's almost as good as confidence, the desperation. As we see that beautiful shot to the end zone, but great high-octane defense, putting on some pressure. I like it from O'Sullivan, but I understand. I think that was probably a foul on Doyle.
Yes.
Although, wouldn't mind seeing a bit of that rebel spirit from Cork coming up. Like, what? That's a UCC on UCC crime there. Cleena Doyle was a big player for UC back in the past. Won varsities with them.
Yes. Yeah.
Won a national title with Rebel? No.
Yes.
Indoors.
Outdoor All Ireland.
So, brought a lot of trophies to Cork.
Yes.
Looking to bring a trophy to Dublin now. Her new home. Or as she's known in. As she's known in Cork. Missing footage.
Yeah.
It's the same as one of the. We're gonna have another look at the foul. You can see the contact there. It's fair enough. Doyle picks it up at the front of the end zone as a result of the uncontested foul. Myrna had the separation, couldn't get the throw off though. Back to Pugh instead. Doyle goes to clear out and then just takes a quick step saying, I'm still here, I'm still free, but I need to get out more permanently. Great body positioning by Myrna, showing a desire for it, but throws it a bit too far ahead of Doyle. So UCC get another try. Lou. And again, now they're starting to just open up and chuck it straight away. Not so bad of an idea. So Pugh with the disc. She has Myrna going down the line, but again, a little bit lackadaisical. It would seem like the energy's kind of gone out of both these teams. I'm just having another look at this replay. This is the foul. I seem to hit her in the hand. So good to know that both the times we've gone to the instant replay, it's proven the call on the field right, which is always nice. UCC, again, they've really struggled when they've been stuck in that end zone. Myrna looking for options. As Pugh just pops it to her. Pugh bobbles it but collects on the second ask. And there's the isolation at the front of the stack for Doyle. Not in yet. Gives it to Merchan for the score. And that makes it 12-2. Fun tidbit. 2 of the 3 games we've streamed before this one ended at 12. One because Pelt just gave up against Ranelagh. Rebel.
Oh, yes.
They got their asses kicked so
did.
resoundingly that they just gave up at 12. And they were like, no, we're gutting. And then in the semi-final, Ranelagh were taking on Alba, and it was 12-3. Ranelagh scored to make it 12-3, and the weather was absolutely atrocious. We actually had to cover everything here and run for cover ourselves. And Alba just went, that's fair enough. We're not making a comeback. Let's go.
Done.
Yeah. That one, like the first one was a surrender. The second one was more of an acceptance.
Yes, similar incident happened 2 years ago in the final. It was UCC playing Gravity. Just before the final began, massive hailstone shower, gust of wind, everything was brought across the pitch. Both teams agreed just to huddle together in unity for a few minutes before we took into play.
And that's the kind of cooperation you're talking about,
Yeah,
looking to build the sport.
Yes. Like Siege is famous for certain things being sunny Limerick.
Sunny Limerick. 3 of them. I love it, Aisling.
Oh, delivering that beautiful weather. And not only the weather, but Siege will always guarantee you a great party. And I think that could
Enjoy the
take-
party tonight? Last night?
It was fantastic. So I think that could be having its toll on both teams now, and the legs are tiring.
I felt like it was having its toll on me this morning as well. But some high octane ultimate has brought me back to life.
Yes. And it is sunny now. Still windy, but it is sunny.
For a while, you always get some sun.
You
There's
absolutely.
always some sun at Siege. It's just when it'll be and how long it'll last, very much indeterminable. As we see the pull going about halfway. This will be a game to 13. The score is currently 12-2. We will be going almost immediately into the men's final because it is Ranelagh from Dublin taking on GB under 24s, and they need to get to Shannon for a flight, which I've never understood. I've heard that excuse so many times, like, can we move it sooner? We didn't think we made the final. We were gonna. Anyway, always fantastic to have the GB under 24 teams come here. They started off a Legacy a few years ago. One of their side, they split the squads. One team came here and won it, which was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Beating Pelt in the final. That was several years ago, I think it might be 2014. Oh, big block from Healy, shutting it down. Delivering the goods. So, now UCC with a chance to score again. Lou, on the front. Tries to just sky it into it. Sometimes I think it's the pressure on defense kind of gets to her a little bit. She's rushing those throws and they're just coming out a bit too quick, too wobbly, not enough spin.
Yeah, just a little more steady on the disc.
Something to take away from Siege as a lesson. See Smith floats that one up. Gilheeney gets under it. Linehan
Nice
has
grab.
nobody near. You have to feed the woman. Ooh, but it was always
Oh.
dropping a bit behind her.
That's a great throw by Anya Gilheeney.
Yeah, I think we should blame Jane Linehan for that one.
Yeah.
She should have caught that. You could hear one of my colleagues in the live stream team, Cheza, just cheering on her ex-teammate. Both UL alumni. Just realised that is probably the first time I've shouted out Cheza. She's been fantastic all weekend long. We do it at the end of the broadcasts, okay? And back to the game. Gilheeney with the disc in the middle of the pitch. Floats it to Myrna. Myrna. Survey, sees Linehan. Looks to take the title and does so. So,
Redemption.
for Dublin, the UL alumni against her native County Cork's team takes home the Siege of Limerick. Congratulations to Gravity, commiserations to UCC, but a monumental achievement in of itself. Like I was saying, we're just having another look at this shot. Brilliant stuff. Myrna, Linehan toes the line brilliantly. So, we do not have a whole lot of time to swap these over. Keep this channel active for the last game of Siege. It will be Ranelagh from Dublin defending the home country against the invasive powers of the British youth in the GB under-24 squad. It promises to be a screamer. I have been Lorcan Murray.
And I've been Aisling O'Sullivan.
Thank you very much for joining us.
I'll take your broken smile.